From local sports to national newsmakers, this is the show everybody is talking about. Live from the Granite State, it's Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Good morning and welcome to the Mike and the Hoss Show, powered by the MM Shop on the Pulse of New Hampshire. I'm Mike Dene, and alongside Charlie Hossack, we are Mike and the Hoss. Charlie, dog, it's raining again. It's raining again.
Yes.
There's nothing better to do than listen to us on the radio. So
good morning. I think the local news station said this is what our ninth. Is this our ninth rainy weekend in a row? Something crazy like that. So hopefully we can break that streak, because it doesn't look good for.
Well, tomorrow's supposed to be nicer. So for Mother's Day, happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. But tomorrow is supposed to be nicer. So maybe the sun will come out for the moms,
which will be good. Well, it's kind of put us in a pickle, Mike, because we do a little bit of umpiring, and usually our games are spread out. And next week we got 3 of the 5 days we will be umpiring, so we're going to be very busy next week together.
So we're going to be flipping a coin who's behind the plate for 2 of those games, right?
We alternate. It'll be me. I'll have to do 2 of the 3. I get it.
Well, I think you owe me a few from last year anyway.
Probably, yeah.
My friend is a little league bench coach, and he's getting frustrated because he can't, coach the kids up or give them good advice or tell them who's hitting next with all this rain.
It's awful. Hey, dog. Speaking, we didn't speak prior to this about your event yesterday. How are you doing? How many assists did you have?
We above me last night. We got crushed 7-1 and 9-1. I had 1 assist, 3 rebounds, no points, both games. Total.
All right. There you go.
That's a good line.
42, because I am 42. So
it's kind of like your white mamba, right? Brian Scalabrine doing it all.
Okay. In a losing effort.
It's a similar line. That's what Scal had.
You're right.
Hey, Charlie, before we get started, I want to do a little shout out and congratulations to my nephew, Hunter Druin, who played lacrosse for Pinkerton. He's at Colgate right now. Honorable mention, All-American. Colgate has made it to the NCAA tournament, and they're playing Penn State tonight on ESPNU. So best of luck to my nephew.
Awesome. Best of luck. That's good. Great news.
All right, you ready to get going?
I'm ready.
All right. Mike and the Hoss is powered by the MM Shop, located in the heart of downtown Wolfboro, and can be found on the Pulse of New Hampshire radio stations and all over the world on the Pulse of New Hampshire app. You can always catch up and listen to our previous shows on the Pulse Podcast Network, Spreaker, Audible, and Amazon Music. The Yum Yum Shop has over 100 varieties of fresh baked goods, including 6 different types of bread and a full-service ice cream bar, and, of course, their most famous item, the gingerbread cookie. Make sure to visit the Yum Yum Shop the next time you're in Wolfboro or online at yummyumshop.com. While you're there, enter the discount code of Mike and the Hoss to receive 20% off a Gingy Box. You can join our conversation, 603-228-2080. That is 603-228-2080. And if you're catching our Facebook stream, thank you to the Heinz Group of Philadelphia and London for sponsoring that, because we are live on Facebook. Yes. We do have a podcast, Charlie.
We do. Overtime with Mike and the Hoss. It's a weekly podcast. As you mentioned, you can find that on the Pulse Podcast Network. It's also we put it up on Facebook and social media. You can follow Mike and the Hoss on X. You could follow us on Facebook, and of course, you could follow us on Instagram. So give Mike and the Hoss a like. We have done 7 podcasts, and our plan is to do one a week. And if you can't listen to the full hour show on Saturday mornings, our live show, which as you mentioned, Mike, you can call in and even win some prizes, some trivia. Our podcasts go about 15 minutes, so it's just a quick Mike and the Hoss fix about a specific topic. Last week's we talked about the Celtics being down 0-2. What the problems were, and our predictions for the rest of the series. So it's good stuff. We enjoy it. Dog's part of it, which makes it even better. So check it out. Overtime OT with Mike and the Hoss once a week on the Pulse Podcast Network.
And we'll continue some of that Celtics talk today. So we do overlap those topics. So yeah, I mean, I think the Celtics are deserving. They're playing this afternoon at 3:30, and they're in New York. So, and we'll get to that a little bit later in the show. Right now, it's Opening Takes, brought to you by the Back Bay Boathouse,
where you can enjoy delicious food and drinks right next to the lake. Don't forget to order the $5 Mike and the Hoss penalty box during happy hour, Monday through Friday from 3 to 5 p.m. Immediately after this show, I'm actually heading down to the Back Bay Boathouse for lunch. It's the retired football coaches luncheon. We do it every few months, so I'm looking forward to that. So if you want to hang out at least with the Hoss, you can head down to the Back Bay Boathouse after the show.
Okay, I'm going to do mine real quick because I don't want to spend much time on mine because I want to spend more time on yours, Charlie. And I think we're going to end up doing yours throughout the rest of our opening takes, plus probably after trivia today, because that one's juicy. The one that, yours, obviously I had part of it in there. And I think that besides the Celtics, if the Celtics weren't bombing right now, I think everybody would be talking about Rafael Devers and what's going on there. So he should be thankful the Celtics are bombing. But I just want to quickly touch base on stealing signs. Michigan head coach Sharon Moore, he is now the head coach, suspended for 2 games for stealing signs. It was self-imposed by Michigan. There was some technology involved, and I went down the rabbit hole of the history of stealing signs, and we've talked a little bit about this before. Along the lines of the Patriots. The Houston Astros were another, where we talked about stealing signs and when it's okay and when it's not okay. And I'm still a little bit confused about when it's okay and it's not okay, because you and I coached baseball, you coached football, and in baseball, it was more than okay to be staring at the third base coach and try to pick up their signs.
Right.
That's a thing. You would actually assign people on the bench and assign coaches on the bench to stare at the third base coach to see if you could pick up the signs that they're giving, so you know when to steal and so on. That's okay. It's okay to get the video of the other team through Huddle, which is a mainstream network that tapes the practices, or you post practices, and so you could see or post games rather, so you could see the plays that the other team runs.
Right.
So that is a perfectly acceptable thing to do. And so if you're getting hints from the other team by the plays that they run, that's acceptable. But if you are filming, or if you pick up the film of the other team's coaches signing in, then that's a bad thing. Or if you bang drums like the Houston Astros did, that's a bad thing. So... Help me out. Make sense of this. Why is it okay in some cases to steal signs and other times it's not? Please help me.
So my opinion, and you've heard this before, is I could care less. It's part of the game. It doesn't matter what the sport is. If you have the opportunity to kind of figure out what their signs, their signals, all of that, whatever it is, if you have the ability to do it, like for example, back in the day, before Huddle technology was out there, Huddle is an electronic platform, as you said, Mike, where you can share information with other coaches and players and so forth. Prior to that, the coaching staff, if you had a bye week, if coaching high school football, if you had a bye week on Friday night, the players and the coaches would go watch their next opponent or someone that they're going to play in the future, and you would be looking for what they were going to do, what plays are they going to run. You'd write down the first 10 plays that they ran. You would do everything to scout this team. You would talk to other coaches that have already played them. So you would do all of your research. So I don't find it any different than if you hire somebody to put somebody on staff whose job it is to travel around the country and go to college football games, for example, or even NFL games. Let's call it college, and taking a look at the different things that the teams are doing. I don't have a problem with that. I think it's just part of the game. If your signs are getting stolen, change them. I mean, we as baseball coaches, if you figure out that the indicator's the nose, then next week the indicator's the elbow. Like, you change them. That's what you do. And if other teams figure it out, good for them. It's part of the game. So I have no problem. Whatsoever if people are hired, if people go out there and are trying to figure out sign stealing. Good for them, because as I said, it's part of the game. It's what makes the game great. And if your signs have been stolen, change them.
It's using your example, Charlie, that on Friday night you would go to watch the other team play. And let's say you pull out your cell phone and you're filming what they're doing. That's okay. But if you take your cell phone and pan over to the coach, that's cheating, could get you suspended and fined. Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense to me that's if you were to pan 10 degrees to your left, or if somehow you picked up the coach in your field of vision and you looked at him, that's considered cheating. If you relay the signs to, if you're in baseball, let's say the Houston Astros, for example, Alex Cora was suspended for a year for this. If you relay you picked up the signs and then you relay that information to the team through beating on trash cans, which is what they did.
Yeah.
That's cheating. But yet, if you were to give other signs to them with, traditional baseball signs, say, hey, they're going to be stealing, that's okay.
Yeah.
Make it make sense.
Think about this. Like, think about in baseball. I mean, we've seen it all the time where there's a runner on second and a pitcher will take a balk. The pitcher will balk just so that the second baseman can't steal the signs from the catcher and he moves over to third base. They'll do that because they know that the runner on second is picking up the signs from the catcher. I mean, that's part of the game. That's strategy. That's exactly what you would do. I mean, you teach a high school kid, if you're on second base, take a look at the signs that the catcher is giving and tip off the guy that's at the plate that's hitting. If you know it's a 2 and it might be a changeup, or it's a 1 and it's a fastball. So the catcher at that time should have different signs when runners can see their sign and they're standing on second. So I don't have a problem with it.
I know you don't, but you're not helping me make sense of this and why.
Well, maybe Dog. Dog's a lot smarter than the both of us, so maybe Dog could give us some wisdom. What are your thoughts, Dog?
Signs, everywhere there's signs. No, the stealings. To your point, guys. Yes, I understand. No, I do. The Astros and the whole, and you said essentially with film, the practices and the like, it's almost like it's encouraged, but you got to change the signs. If you think there's one-upsmanship going on, well, you got to one-up them too. So,
yeah, I see these suspensions. I see the fines that happen, the Patriots suspensions, the loss of draft picks. It's just, even though the film was readily available, if you just tuned into CBS, you saw the film.
Now I have a problem. So the part that I have a problem with, and like, if let's say that I'm coaching high school football, if I decided on a Tuesday afternoon to show up at an opponent's practice, I have a problem with that. I'm not welcome there for that. A game is a public event anybody can go to. I would say a practice would be sacred. I can't roll down to St. Thomas with my camera and start filming their practices. That's over the top. That's not part of the game. But as far as games, anybody's welcome to go to the games.
We turn off for the high school team. We would turn off the live barn camera, especially as we got towards playoffs.
Yeah.
So the teams couldn't be looking at us, and I get that. I get the practice piece of it, but a lot of times this is not happening. People are getting suspended for what they saw in a game or what they looked at in a game,
right,
which doesn't make any sense. I'm kind of glad we didn't get to yours, Charlie, because after trivia at the bottom of the hour, I want to spend that whole section talking about yours.
Yeah. Could I do one thing before we go to break? It's old news now, but it was something I wanted to mention last week. I just wanted to give people know this now. Farewell to Greg Popovich, 76 years old. He's finally stepped down from coaching. He was 29 seasons with the San Antonio Spurs, 1996 to 2025. He's a 5-time NBA champion, 3-time Coach of the Year, Olympic bronze and gold medalist. And this part is the best part. He's the NBA's winningest coach with 1,422. He's staying in the league. He's the president of basketball operations for the Spurs. But personally, I always liked the guy. I always liked him as a coach. He's different, and that's a pretty good run, and to have that many wins. So congratulations to Greg Popovich, and I know we'll still see him, just not on the court.
It's a good run, but I don't feel quite the same way about Pop, and I'll share my feelings. When he first became a head coach, he was a general manager for the San Antonio Spurs, and they had David Robinson. David Robinson got hurt in the 13th or 14th game of the year, went down for the year. Tanked the year, so he came down to coach. Tanked the year so he could get the number 1 pick, and you know who the number 1 pick was? And everybody knew who the number 1 pick was going to be, Tim Duncan, and that's where he started. So I think he was a great strategizer in cherry picking a situation where he knew that he was going to come out with the Twin Towers at the time of David Robinson and Tim Duncan, and that's where the San Antonio run came from. So I think that was kind of manipulated on his part as general manager, so that he came out looking, they went from a 13-win team that year when they got the 1 pick to a 50-win team, but you got David Robinson and Tim Duncan who didn't play the year before. So I don't feel quite the same about Pop, but he had a good run overall. He won with other players. So he won with other players. All right, we'll be right back. We're going to do a little, just not a game. We're going to talk about the greatest New Hampshire athlete ever. Or we're going to talk about it anyway. All right, we'll be right back.
No radio? No problem.
You can listen to the Pulse of New Hampshire anywhere. Just ask your smart device to play
The Pulse of NH.
Color and function equal design. A piece of furniture, a rug, a pair of glasses, your baseball cap, whatever it is. It has to be color and function.
Jody Sleeper from American Cottage in Guilford, which specializes in U.S.-made furniture, custom and design services, handmade rugs, and gorgeous lighting.
I would expect to draw a dresser that's 4 feet long. If the 4 feet makes sense, don't buy a 5 foot and have it hanging over the door frame. And believe me, I've walked into homes where that has already happened because I didn't know other things were possible. That makes me sad because I never want someone to go backwards financially. I never want someone to think they've made a mistake. Money earned is for yours to use, and use it in a way that you love and you never have to replace.
For handmade rugs and custom home furnishings and gifts, visit American Cottage, open Monday through Friday from 10 to 5, Saturday 10 to 3. In-house consulting is always available, so visit American Cottage at 9 Guilford East Drive or call for an appointment. 877-263-7268. 877-263-7268.
No artificial coloring, no artificial flavoring. We all want the real deal when it comes to food, so why settle for anything less when it comes to your insurance? At Allied Insurance Agency, there's nothing artificial about their intelligence. It comes from education, experience, and most importantly, listening to their customers. When you call Allied Insurance, you'll speak to a real person, not an automated system. They will ask all the right questions to ensure that your home, auto, business, and life insurance policies are tailored to your specific needs. Let Allied be your trusted real-life insurance agent. Call Allied Insurance 603-224-5394.
This summer, push your limits and join New England's best cycling experience, the Proudy Ultimate, on July 11th and 12th. 2 days of supported cycling through the scenic vistas and roadways of Vermont and New Hampshire, all to support life-saving research and patient services at Dartmouth Cancer Center. The Proudy Ultimate is more than just a ride. It's a way to deliver hope to cancer patients and their families. Spots are limited. Register today at theprouty.org. Hope starts here. Hope starts with you.
When you switch to Progressive, you could save bundling your home and auto. Then you could put that money towards some of the surprisingly more expensive things in life.
May I help you? I just wanted to request a late checkout, please.
Of course. That's $30 per hour for up to 4 hours.
Huh. Okay, but if you can offer a late checkout, then that probably means no one is staying in that room. So if it's empty, maybe I can just stay a few extra hours.
Oh, aren't you adorable?
Life costs a lot, so bundle and you could save with Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliates, and other insurers. Not available in all states.
Hi, I'm Colonel Mark Hall of the New Hampshire State Police. Tune in every Thursday morning at 9:20 for your New Hampshire State Police segment on Good Morning New Hampshire with Jack on the Pulse of New Hampshire to learn about what we do for public safety in New Hampshire.
Jason LaCroix here from AutoFair. Our team is proud to sponsor your New Hampshire State Police segment on Good Morning New Hampshire. We believe it is important for the community to know more about the men and women who work on the front lines of public safety. Tune in each Thursday morning at 9:20 for your New Hampshire State Police segment brought to you by the team at AutoFair.
Coming up at noon, we talk tech with Kim Commando. In the meantime, we're back to Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Yeah. Wolfboro, legends quick to late. Mike on the mic, playing boss. Wolfboro broad nights where the snow gets tossed, talking socks.
All right, welcome back to Mike and the Hoss. We're going to do some New Hampshire sports. We're going to talk about New Hampshire sport athletes. But New Hampshire sports is brought to you by the Bailey's Bubble.
It is, and Bailey's Bubble is open. Today is opening day for Bailey's Bubble. Come down to Wolfboro and get your ice cream. Family-owned and operated Bailey's Bubble in downtown Wolfboro serves the finest ice cream in the state May through October. If you can't make it to Wolfboro for ice cream, you can still order their hot fudge, panucci, and butterscotch sauces at baileysbubble.com. My favorite is their homemade hot fudge. When placing your order, don't forget to tell them that Mike and the Hoss sent you. And as I said, come on down, opening day for Bailey's Bubble. I know it's rainy, but ice cream will make you feel so much better.
So, we were looking for something to talk about. This is something that we wanted to do for a while, Charlie, is just talk about, famous, successful New Hampshire athletes. And I put a little bit of rule in here that they were either born or raised in New Hampshire. So you didn't have to necessarily be born in New Hampshire but there's a lot of lists out there. This is pretty interesting. A lot of lists. I can see you added a couple names onto the bottom.
I did.
And I would like to after we get through discussing this, I want about 10 minutes or so for the three of us to choose who we think is the most successful, famous New Hampshire athlete based on our discussion.
I thought you were going to say this the most sexy.
If you want to do that too, we can. I mean,
No,
Dog had that line last night, with basketball, so maybe he qualifies for that.
All right.
The 001 line, so maybe. All right, so the first one that comes to mind for me is, do you want to just read through? We'll read through the list.
Yeah, let's go through the list, and why don't we should we go just back and forth? Yeah.
All right, we'll go back and forth. So the first one on our list, Carlton Fisk from Charlestown, New Hampshire. Technically born in Vermont, but he was raised in Charlestown. A legendary baseball catcher. Obviously, everybody knows about Fisk. I'm not going to get into it so we can get to the other names, but Carlton Fisk is a famous New Hampshire athlete.
All right. How about Jenny Thompson? Jenny Thompson's from Dover. There's a pool named after her down in Dover. She was an Olympic swimmer, 5 gold medals, and broke the 100-meter butterfly world record in 1999.
Bodie Miller from Eaton/Franconia, obviously a world-class skier, is one of the most decorated alpine skiers in U.S. history, Bodie Miller.
And, of course, there's Matt Bonner. Dog knows him quite well. Matt Bonner's from Concord, former NBA player. Bonner played for the San Antonio Spurs. He played for Pop and won 2 NBA championships.
Chris Carpenter from Exeter, a Cy Young Award winner. Carpenter was a dominant force in Major League Baseball and helped St. Louis Cardinals win the World Series. Chris Carpenter.
Yeah, there's Mike Flanagan from Manchester. He also was a Cy Young award-winning pitcher. Flanagan was dominant force in Major League Baseball. He won 167 games in his career.
Did you? Oh, I'm sorry. I think you cut out. Red Rolfe, if I'm pronouncing that right, from Pennacook. He's a former New York Yankees third baseman. 3-time All-Star, played with the World Series, helping the Yankees dominate in the late 30s.
Oh, gosh, I never got a chance to see him play. All right, how about Greg Landry?
By the way, it's in Pennacook, so yeah.
Oh, that's good. Greg Landry, he was born in Nashua. He was a talented quarterback who played in the NFL for the Lions, the Colts, and the Bears.
Bob Tewksbury from Concord. Bob Tewksbury was a standout pitcher, obviously. Tewksbury was known for his incredible control and had a stellar career in Major League Baseball.
Jane Blaylock, she's from Portsmouth, a professional golfer. She won her first LPGA player to win more than $100,000 in 4 consecutive seasons.
Lynn Jennings from Newmarket, a long-distance runner, won 39 national titles and 3 world cross-country titles.
George Birdie Tebbets from Nashua, a 4-time All-Star catcher who later became a successful manager for the MLB, in the MLB. Yeah.
Penny Patu from Laconia, 1960s Olympic silver medalist in the downhill and giant slalom.
And of course, how can we forget Paul Michael Levesque, also known as Triple H from Nashua, former professional wrestler. He's an actor, and he's the current chief content officer of the WWE.
Hunter Long from Exeter. They're getting some current guys now. NFL player and current tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars.
How could we forget Jeff Locke? Jeff is from North Conway. He was an MLB pitcher for the Pirates and the Marlins. He's the all-time wins leader for Kennett High School.
Chip Kelly from Dover, an alumnus of UNH, NFL college coach, currently offensive coordinator for the Las Vegas Raiders.
All right, so that's what we put down, Doug. I know you haven't seen the list, but that's what we put down for our athletes from New Hampshire. All right, so what are we going to do now, Mike?
I guess we're gonna have a little back and forth on if we're gonna pick one. I mean, we really should do it as a Mount Rushmore. That's probably
let's pick
where
4. Let's pick 4. One's
pick 4.
tough.
Okay,
yeah,
I think that's fair. So we'll go around and we'll pick one that's going to be on there, and then we'll just keep going until we get 4 each. So my first one that's going to go on there is Bodie Miller. I think that in the skiing world, Bodie Miller is probably considered potentially on the Mount Rushmore of the skiing world itself, and as far as American skiers.
Okay.
And so he's from New Hampshire, and I'm putting Bodie Miller on the Mount Rushmore for New Hampshire all-time athletes.
Okay. I am going to put another Olympic medalist. I'm going to put Jenny Thompson up there. Jenny was just a dominant swimmer with her 5 gold medals. I mean, she's from Dover. Jenny Thompson is getting on Mount Rushmore for me.
Dog, who you got?
Carlton Fisk. At one time, no one caught more games than he did until another Pudge came along, Pudge Ivan Rodriguez.
Mm-hmm.
My second on the list is going to be Carlton Fisk. Probably one of the worst trade signings, whatever, when he left the Red Sox to the White Sox over a paperwork dispute, because back in 1978, 1979, whenever he left, it was about paperwork being filed with Major League Baseball, and that's how he ended up with the White Sox and went on to catch 15 more years or so with the White Sox. Often considered one of the all-time greatest catchers in baseball, plus has the most memorable home run ever hit for the Red Sox.
There it is. Yeah, agreed. I'm going to put Fisk on as well. So Carlton Fisk for me. How about you, Doug? Who's your second?
Jenny Thompson, Dover's own, one of the more underrated, decorated. Try saying that 10 times fast.
Yeah.
Olympic medalists in the history. We talk about Mike Phelps being the most decorated, Mark Spitz. Swimming always seems to be where it's at. And Jenny Thompson should have a seat at the table. Man, woman, beast, child, does not matter. She should be on there.
Third on my list is Jenny Thompson. 5 gold medals, speaks for itself. You're talking an event that is everybody from around the world comes and play in the Olympics. It's, where you're the winter sport that it's, you're kind of isolated. No, in swimming, they all show up. They all show up for swimming. And she is one of the greatest female swimmers, one of the greatest swimmers in the United States history, one of the greatest, definitely female swimmers in the United States history. And she's from New Hampshire.
I'm going to keep the theme of Olympic. I'm actually going to go with Penny Patu from Laconia. She was a 1960s, as we said, Olympic silver medalist in downhill and giant slalom. Here's the deal. She was the first American female to medal in the downhill event. And this was 1960 out at Squaw Valley. And then she continued even after her Olympic career. She ran a ski school over at Gunstock. She's still alive. She ran a travel agency. She's still involved in the skiing world. She's in the New England Ski Hall of Fame. So Penny Patu deserves it, from my perspective.
Dog, you're up.
Matt Bonner, Concord's own. I got to do it because how many NBA basketball players come from Concord, New Hampshire? None.
One.
Until Matt Bonner.
Yeah, one. I get that answer. I have one left, but I'm gonna kind of go co because they're so much alike. Chris Carpenter and Mike Flanagan, both Cy Young Award winners. That is the greatest pitcher of that season in baseball. Both of them won a Cy Young. Chris Carpenter won a World Series title. I don't know if Mike Flanagan win a World Series title. I want to say he won with Baltimore. With Baltimore, right?
Yeah. Greatest year of all time, 1983.
Yeah. So both of them are World Series winners. Both of them Cy Young Award winners. Both of them were dominant pitchers in their day. Both of them were number ones. Flanagan a one, or Jim Palmer was the one on that Baltimore team?
Oh, Flanagan, I believe, as was McGregor, Scott McGregor, because Palmer was starting to lose steam. In fact, he was gone the following year in '84. So he kind of became the back end of the rotation towards the end.
Yeah. So I'm going to go I'm going Chris Carpenter, Mike Flanagan for my fourth spot. We're just going to shrink their heads and put them on together to show that they're there.
Shrunken heads. I like it. I'm going to go with, similar to Doug, I'll go with Matt Bonner from Concord, only NBA player from New Hampshire. Doug, I had a question for you, though. His brother, Luke. What is Luke, older or younger?
He is younger.
Younger. So you went to school with Matt or no? Or Luke?
Yes.
Or both? Both of them.
Luke, I believe, was only for like a year or two. Then he went to another school. So no, he went to Concord. Excuse me, because it was Matt, Becky, and Luke. So
okay,
all right.
Cool.
Dog,
so
who's your fourth?
And then Luke played professional basketball, just not in the NBA. Correct.
Correct. Yes.
Okay.
Dog, who's your fourth?
Fourth one, Bodie Miller. I think we don't really, he's kind of, I don't want to say out there. He has this personality, though, that he's out there. Well, he's a skier. A lot of those personalities, especially in the 80s and the 90s and the 2000s, like Shaun White, the Flying Tomato, they are out there. But they're out there in a good way. They've got the positive vibe. They got the, laid back. I mean, you don't want to be too laid back when you're doing skiing, but you get the idea.
You got to be fearless. Those guys go so fast down. you have to be fearless to ski at that level. And, maybe that's why they're so laid back and chill with everything, because it's such a dangerous sport. But anyway, all right. So that's going to do it for us. I like that. That was good. We got some good representation here of athletes in New Hampshire, especially we got representations in just about every sport. We don't have any hockey. I don't know if you noticed that there's no hockey here, which,
no hockey.
you think that if anything, New Hampshire would spit out a hockey player.
Hockey state. What's going on there? Yeah.
We got wrestling, for crying out loud. We got
Yes.
professional wrestling. All right. When we come back, we might have the easiest trivia question that we've done ever.
Yes.
So we're trying to give away something. So come back after the break for more Mike and the Hoss.
107.7 WTPL, the pulse of New Hampshire.
It's Christmas Eve, 1906, and Reginald Fessenden did something amazing, a world's first, right in Brant Rock, Massachusetts.
He was the first to successfully transmit the sound of human voice as well as a Christmas concert wirelessly. This broadcast, the first AM broadcast ever, was intercepted by United Fruit Company ships out in the Atlantic Ocean, and American Fences was there.
Since 1892, American Fences has been a Mafera family-owned business. Whether your fence is professionally installed or a do-it-yourself project, experience matters. That's why American Fences is with you every step of the way with the best fencing materials and first-rate customer service.
So take that first step and give us a call, 603-485-7197. Just please don't sing us any Christmas carols.
American Fences Incorporated, located on the Hooksett Road in Hooksett.
Online at AmericanFences.net.
Are you in need of a reliable and trustworthy auto repair shop? Look no further than Pellerin Motorsports, located at 219 Pembroke Street in Pembroke. Meet Brandon and Ryan, your expert mechanics, who are dedicated to providing honest and reliable service to all their customers.
Hey, it's Ryan from Pellerin Motorsports. And I'm Brandon. At Pellerin Motorsports, we believe in doing things the right way the first time. We're not going to try to sell you unnecessary repairs or try to upsell you on services you don't need. Your trust means everything to us.
That's right. We treat every vehicle like it's our own. No, we are committed to fixing your vehicle right the first time. We've got the knowledge and expertise to tackle any problem that comes our way.
And we also know how important your family safety is to you. That's why we go above and beyond to make sure your vehicle is reliable and safe.
Absolutely. And it's not just about the repairs. When you drive into Pellerin Motorsports, you become part of our automotive family.
So listen, if you're tired of being taken advantage of, come down to Pellerin Motorsports. We're waiting to take care of all your automotive needs.
Give us a call at 210-1637.
If you've been having your McDonald's sausage McMuffin with an iced coffee from somewhere else, now's the right time to reconsider.
Wake up to a warm sausage McMuffin with egg for $3 and add your favorite any size iced coffee in caramel, black, or French vanilla for just $1.29 during breakfast hours only. Prices and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer.
Hey, Green Gobbler here. So you've got a clogged drain in your bathroom. Water in the sink's overstaying its welcome. You're spitting today's toothpaste on top of yesterday's toothpaste. You hope that it go away. Yeah, clogs don't just go away. I make them go away. I'm Green Gobbler, the only clog dissolver you need. I'm bleach-free, safe for your pipes, and I work. Guaranteed or your money back. Because I never met a clog that was going to unclog itself. Green Gobbler. Let the gobbler get it.
Get in touch with the show anytime at thepulseofnh.com and on the free-to-download Pulse of NH app. Now, back to Mike and the Haas on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Haas, sports talk classics in New England Magic, broadcast fantastic. Wolfboro crew where the echoes scream. Fathers, coaches, chasing the dream.
Dog has got the rap vibe going today. He's staying with that. Like I said before break, Charlie, we got one of our easier trivia questions, so the phone's gonna ring fast. I can tell it's gonna ring fast. Give it to him.
All right. Today's trivia is sponsored by Seven Sons Cafe. You're going to get a chance to win a $20 gift card. The phone number you need is 603-228-2080. That's 603-228-2080. Seven Sons Cafe is nestled on Railroad Ave in downtown Wolfboro. It's a cozy little spot that welcomes both visitors and locals alike. Known for their delicious crepes, hearty bagel sandwiches, and a variety of drinks, including coffee, tea, and refreshing fruit smoothies. It's the perfect place to grab a bite or relax with a drink. On warmer days, guests can enjoy outdoor seating, take in the charming hustle and bustle of Wolfboro, and then during the summer, the cafe is open Monday through Saturday, 7 to 2 p.m., and on Sundays from 8 to 1. When visiting Seven Sons Cafe, don't forget to tell them that Mike and the Hoss sent you. So here is the trivia, the world's easiest trivia question we have ever done on the show. How many NBA championships have the Celtics won? How many NBA championships have the Celtics won? 603-228-2080. That's 603-228-2080 to win a $20 gift card to Seven Sons Cafe. All right, Mike, there it is.
Yeah, I mean, how much we get? We get about 5. Let's save the Devers stuff until after the break because, and we'll just go run to because we got to talk about the Celtics since you have your trivia's about the Celtics. They're down 0-2. I'm whatever the answer is for trivia. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the same answer next year when we ask the question. So, we talked about it in overtime with Mike and the Hoss this week, and just whatever's happened to the Celtics, their decision making, their shot selection, their intensity, they don't look like a defending champion right now.
They don't. Hey, but you know what? We got a caller, Mike.
Oh, I didn't even see it. Scott from Bow has an answer for trivia. Scott, what do you have? How many championships do the Celtics have?
17.
17 championships? Are you sure? Oh, Scott. Oh, we really do.
Let's help Scott out.
I don't know if we can help Scott out. I don't know if we're allowed to offer tutoring. Dog's looking at us he's giving us a stare.
We can give him a hint.
I can give him a hint.
So they had 17.
You have to be a certain age to go voting.
They had 17 at this time last year, Scott. So,
yes. What did you say, Scott?
18.
You, sir, are correct, Scott. Oh, you got a little help from Mike, the Hoss, and the dog. So yes, Scott, you have won at 18 NBA championships for the Boston Celtics. You, sir, have won a $20 gift card to Seven Sons Cafe. Please, please, please make sure when you do come to Wolfboro and use it, you let them know that Mike and the Hoss sent you. And of course, Scott, we appreciate you listening to the show. Tell your friends, tell your family, and we hope you have an amazing weekend. Hopefully it'll stop raining for you.
I appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Thanks, Scott. All right. So I mean, at this point, I know you're pretty optimistic, Charlie, that they're gonna come back and win this series. I think you're one of the few people that is optimistic about this. I was mentioning the dog off the air last night. Cleveland, who's down 0-2, also they won last night, and Donovan Mitchell went for 43. And I said that's a bad thing because I think that Jason Tatum looks at Donovan Mitchell as a contemporary and challenging him for face of the league, that whole stuff.
Yeah.
And I see Tatum tonight, this afternoon at 3:30. I see him putting up 50 shots. I see him trying to match that kind of thing. And he doesn't.
I hope not.
I know. But I do see this happening. And I could see the ball banging off the side of the rim all afternoon long. And it's going to be. I don't think it's a good thing. I don't think it's a good thing that Mitchell went off for so many and had such a successful game and Cleveland blew it out.
Yeah.
I want to ask this question. Is this them being down 0-2, the way that they're playing, giving up 2 20-point leads consecutively, never happened. Is this a Tatum problem? Is it a Mazzulla problem? Or is it a system problem that the Celtics run?
I mean, I think we talked about this in overtime earlier this week. I mean, I think I don't know about the system, but I think it's a problem. It is a Tatum problem and it's a Mazzulla problem. Tatum said all the right things at the latest press conference where he's taken responsibility for his poor play, shot selection. I mean, he said what he was supposed to say as a professional athlete and kind of has taken the team on his shoulders that it's my fault. And Mazzulla, I don't know if he has control of the team. I mean, he's surrounded by some of the best players in the NBA at this time that can kind of just do what they want. And I don't know with Missoula. It's not like it's not like he's been around for a long time. He's not a veteran coach, shall we say. He hasn't been around for 15, 20 years. So I don't think Missoula can necessarily say, this is what we're going to do. This is the play we're going to drop. This is what we're going to run. They're going to run what they want to run. I mean, I guess I'm concerned because how are you up by 20 points in 2 games late in the third of both games and just completely implode? I mean, it's the ultimate choke. Like there's no reason why any team shouldn't be able to being up 20 late in the third, control the game. I mean, even if you hit half your shots, and the Celtics weren't even doing that.
But I think this part of this is the coaching piece, and maybe he doesn't have control, but shots don't go in. That can happen. But when there's a shot clock and you are shooting, when you're up 20 in the fourth quarter or at the end of the third, and you're shooting with 14, 15 seconds left on the shot clock in consecutive trips down the court, it's a leadership problem. It's a coaching problem. I don't necessarily think it's much of a player problem. Sometimes the ball doesn't go in the hoop. Get that. But they can make conscious choices about when they shoot the ball and to milk those seconds off. If they would have milked the seconds off, starting from the fourth quarter, they probably wouldn't be in the boat that they're in now. So I do think it's a leadership thing. Before we go to break, and they're on again 3:30 today. Charlie, you're pretty much on record. You think they're going to win. I get the Knicks in 6 right now. I think Dog said the Knicks in 7 when we did overtime. Did you catch Paul Pierce?
I did.
Prior to game 2, Paul Pierce said that he would walk to work in his robe if they lost game 2. And he happens to live 20 miles away from the studio. And so they lost. And he woke up at 5:00 the next morning and walked the 20 miles in his robe. He documented it on social media because everybody does. But he documented it, and he walked the 20 miles, and he honored the bet that he made. He honored what he said he was going to do, which I thought was pretty cool. And Paul Pierce, I've run hot and cold on Paul Pierce, but kudos to him. Kudos to him for doing that.
Now, if you're trying to bait me into making a bet, I'm not wearing a robe anywhere, but I am still taking the Celtics. I'm taking them in 6. They're going to win the next 4 in a row, and they're going to make it to the Eastern Conference Finals.
All right. When we come back, we're going to get to the Devers stuff because it's all Red Sox when we come back. So we'll be right back.
This is the Pulse of New Hampshire, 107.7 WTPL.
Hi, I'm Lisa.
And I'm Kevin, and we're the proud owners of your local Budget Blinds.
Spring is the perfect time to ask about our solar shades that block harmful UV rays and maintain a comfortable temperature in your home, as well as protect your furniture, carpeting, and flooring from fading.
And now is the perfect time to update your window shades with our buy 2, get 1 free sale. And don't forget our industry-leading 5-year, no questions asked warranty.
At Budget Blinds, we carry blinds, shades, shutters, drapes, motorized window coverings, and are your local expert in home automation.
We would love to help you get started today. Text blinds to 78,000.
That's blinds to 78,000. Or stop by our newly renovated showroom and see for yourself all the incredible products we offer at 248 Sheep Davis Road in Concord.
For more detailed information, text blinds to 78,000.
The following legal minute is presented by McDonald Law, the official law office of the Pulse of New Hampshire.
What happens if I get pulled over by the police and they want me to take some tests to determine if I'm safe to drive or if I'm under the influence of alcohol or drugs? Do I have to do those roadside tests? This is Corey McDonald, founder of McDonald Law in Hampton Falls. The short answer to the question is no. The roadside tests are completely voluntary. No legal penalty for declining to take the tests. The officer must advise you that the tests are voluntary. Usually this is done by saying, do you mind stepping out of the car and taking some tests so I can ensure you're safe to drive? Police have a difficult job to do, but you should know your hard-won legal rights. Voluntarily agreeing to get out of your car and take roadside tests may provide the state with evidence to use against you at a future trial for driving under the influence. For more information, or if you've been charged with a crime, give us a call. MacDonaldLaw.us. That's MacDonald law.us. We're a firm of prior law enforcement and prior prosecutors, ready to go to work for you.
McDonald Law, the official law office of the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Hey, Dr. Graham, you know what makes Crossroads Chiropractic different?
Our great results, family-friendly atmosphere, affordable adjustments, even without insurance.
No.
The way we do a careful examination and take x-rays when they're necessary. The fact that we make a plan for correction and really help our patients.
Great and true, but I was thinking what really makes us different is our patients themselves.
Well, our patients are awesome. They're like our chiropractic family.
They are our family, and so many of them came to us as a last resort. When nothing else worked, they chose us for help with migraine headaches, back pain, neck pain, sciatica, and even digestive problems.
They also brought their kids for help with bedwetting, chronic ear infections, asthma, colic, and ADHD. But please don't misunderstand. We don't treat conditions or cure anything. We align the spine so the body can heal itself.
Today, we're inviting you to see how chiropractic could help your family. This month, a complete exam with any necessary x-rays is just $59 at Crossroads Chiropractic in Meredith, Pembroke, Bedford, and Epping. Call 603-575-9080 or go to crossroadschiropractic.com.
You're listening to the Granite State's own Mike and the Hoss on the Pulse of New Hampshire.
Mike and the Hoss on the radio waves. Teachers by day, coaches making plays. Sports talking kings of Wolf.
I want to listen to the whole song, but we don't have time to. We just don't have time to. We got to get to the Rafael Devers stuff. Before we do that, the Red Sox are on the Pulse tonight. They're game 2 in Kansas City, 6:10 pregame, 7:10 first pitch. I don't know. I don't know what to make about the Red Sox. They're a 500 team, but they have inner turmoil. And Charlie, take it. You want to talk about?
All right. So just to kind of get everybody up to speed, Red Sox chief baseball officer Craig Breslow, he approached Rafael Devers about a potential shift to first base after Tristan Casas' season-ending injury. You know, he got injured and he's out. This is the second time that the slugger, aka Rafael Devers, has been asked about shifting positions during the offseason with the acquisition of Alex Bregman. Bregman is our third baseman for the Boston Red Sox. Devers was asked to make the shift from third base to DH, and he did so reluctantly, but made the shift. This is what Devers had to say about being asked to potentially play first base. Devers says, "I know I'm a ball player, but at the same time, they can't expect me to play every single position out there. In spring training, they talked to me and basically told me to put away my glove. I wasn't going to play another position other than DH. Right now, I don't think it would be an appropriate decision by them to ask me to play another position." So Rafael Devers right now, I guess the word of the day would be he is selfish, absolutely selfish. The Red Sox have a need. The Red Sox need someone to play first base. Why not ask Rafael Devers? There's been many players out there that have transitioned to first base. I don't want to say it's an easy position to play, but it's an easier position to learn how to play than other positions. We're not asking him to become a catcher or a center fielder. We're asking him to play first base. Your thoughts, Mike?
Well, he said that if an outfielder gets hurt, are you going to ask me to go in the outfield too? So for some reason, he thinks that I don't understand. Major League Baseball players, you would think would be the best players that played on their teams going up.
Of
if they make it all the way to major leagues, that they could play any position.
Of course they could.
And switching to first base, and this is not a slight against first baseman, but I can't see an infield position that if you're playing at a major league level, that you can't make that adjustment to first base. It is an easier position to play. And again, it's not a slight, it's just the facts. So to not make that move, all I think is that Devers is just a petulant little baby about this, and he's mad about the DH thing, and he's just trying to, stick it to the Red Sox in any way that he can. You saw that John Henry, Sam Kennedy, Craig Breslow, they all flew out to Kansas City to meet with Devers last night and to talk about it, and to smooth things over or whatever. I think eventually he is going to go to first base, unless they make some big trade, which what a shame that would be. More importantly, the Red Sox need to find room for the two best minor leaguers in baseball, in Marcelo Meyer and Roman Anthony, to come up to their team, because the team cannot hit. This would actually create space for one of them to come up. It would create space for that to happen. the Red Sox need to overhaul. And I'm going to say this, and I'm a big fan. Is it time do we start shifting some of this blame to Alex Cora? Because this is the inner workings of the clubhouse. This is the vibe that's going on in the clubhouse. And when players don't want to be team players, eventually you got to look at the manager. And I'm a Cora fan more than you are, but this team seems dysfunctional. This is dysfunctional between the Tristan Casa stuff earlier in spring training and the Devers stuff that happened in spring training and positions. You got Yoshida. I mean, there's all kinds of stuff going on. I'm sorry. I think that the manager needs to start being looked at.
Before we get to our poll question, let me just throw my 2 cents in. It could be Alex Cora. I'm not going to say that it isn't, but is Alex Cora getting pressure from John Henry via Craig Breslow and saying this is how we're going to run the team, and kind of taking a little bit of the power away from Cora to make decisions on his own?
Yeah, I think the team's run by a computer. I think it's run by an algorithm. I'm not kidding. I think there's a computer program that is running this team about when to, not just who to pitch and, the strategy of in-game. I think that the computer's strategy outside the game in the general manager's office on who they should be going to sign, what positions they should be moving. I think this is an algorithm that's running this team. It is, Breslow's the face of it. Henry's the owner. But make no mistake that somebody's punching in numbers into a computer and it's spitting out decisions, and these guys are doing the decisions.
Yeah.
Dog?
They're going by a 2010s business model, which got old by the 2020s. Well, we're now in the 2020s, and Alex Cora, you know what, guys? I'm going to say it. For all the success they've had, that's in the past. He's not the guy anymore, and they're going to lose the clubhouse if they don't do something about this very soon.
Yeah, I think this is a bigger deal than they've been 500 for 6 years. If you look at their records, if you add them up for 6 years, they've been 500, and I think that part of their goal is to be around a 500 team because the money makes sense. I'm sure the algorithm says that if you're within a few wins of 500. And you don't spend that much money, the profit margins are going to be there.
Yeah,
so this thing's run like a business.
Next year's manager will be Al Goritham.
That's good. Hey, Doug, what's poll question? Talk to us about that.
Okay, last week's poll question. This was a hot button issue, guys, on X and on Facebook as well. It was at the Pulse of NH. Should seasons be canceled for high school sports if players are accused of hazing? 71.4% on X said yes, while 28.6% said no. Now on Facebook, it was about 98% no, 2% yes. This week's poll question, not as controversial, although it is hot button. Will Rafi Devers play first base? Yes or no?
I think it's a yes. I think eventually he's going to. Cora will probably get to him. If he doesn't go to first base, then watch out in July because Rafi Devers is going to be on that trade block in July.
Absolutely.
They're going to try to move away from him.
Not only is Cora going to get to him, not only is Cora going to get to him. I mean, the rest of the players. I mean, it's about winning baseball games. It's So yes, I agree with you, Mike, that Rafi Devers will be playing first base very soon.
Yeah, there's dysfunction there, and bad teams have dysfunction. Bad teams are in the news for non-baseball things, and that's where this is. This has been going on since the beginning of March. Right. Bad teams are in the news for non-baseball things.
It's going to be a blessing in disguise, guys. Jim Thome, when he played for Cleveland, was originally a third baseman. Wasn't very good at it, so they moved him to first base because Matt Williams became a one-and-done kind of thing. The Giants had traded him to Cleveland in the 97 season. Thome played at first base and thrived and became a DH too. So,
yeah,
there's a long history of players that have moved from third base to first base and been successful. So,
right. Gold Glovers.
All right, I think it's going to happen this week. But anyway, thanks for listening. We'll be back next week for more Mike and the Hoss in overtime sometime in the middle of the week with Mike and the Hoss. But have a great rainy day, everybody.
Bye, everybody.